know who's a freaking awesome loan officer? Kim Ricci. I cannot tell you enough about how amazing this woman is. Not only her, but her whole office. She has put together the most amazing group of people in Stowe, Ohio, to do mortgages and loans for everybody and anybody in that area. Not only does she do that, she helps everybody who is in her office perform better, get more business, do a better job, but she does the same thing for any of her referral partners. Her real estate agents know her. Her title people know her. Anybody that is in the real estate industry is proud to know Kim Ricci. I know that I am. You know who's freaking awesome? Kim Ricci is a freaking awesome loan officer. Kim, thanks for being on with us today.
Thank you, Johnny, for having me on. Hi.
Well, it means everything to me. You're obviously one of what I consider like my heroes in this business. You're one of those people that there's no complaining. There's you put your nose down to the grindstone. I've watched you triple your business. And it's just full steam ahead always. And I get excited every time I talk to you because it makes my heart do good. It's an amazing feeling, and I'm just so enamored of you, your office, your people. It's one of my favorite places to visit, and I'm just in awe of you.
Thank you. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you. That's nice. Great intro.
We've done a number of trainings for your loan officers up there. We've done a number of trainings for your real estate agents up there. I think it's something that has gone over phenomenal. The venue's phenomenal. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I think that, and thank you so much for you coming up and helping me with this. It is amazing. I think that everything we do when we gather our loan officers and we gather our realtors and we do the marketing training, they love it. They're like little sponges. They need this. They need help. They don't know the Facebook. They don't know where to start, most of them. And I think that when we've had these events, the business that I get from them, the repeat business, we do the follow-ups is incredible by far. And the one you just did for me with shooters, the one we did, the Sweetheart of an event in February, like doubled my business, doubled my people that came in, our other loan officers in the office. It's done incredible things. Well, they just want more. They want more.
My personal opinion is it's because you're bringing something of true enrichment and value to the community, to the real estate industry that nobody else is doing. It's something that, for you and I, it seems pretty simple, but nobody's doing it. And I kind of like that. I like that idea that nobody else is doing it. But, for me, like I said, it does my heart so good is when I come back from Ohio and I friend these agents and the insurance people and the title people and the home warranty people, and I watch them start enacting what we've trained them and taught them to do, and watching how excited they get when it brings them business and when they're on their listings and things like that. It just I sit back with the biggest smile and just as happy as I can be.
I think I get phone calls, honestly, probably every day or every other day, whether it's a partner, whether it's a realtor, whoever, and they're like, I'm doing this and it works. I listen to you guys and it works. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And if they're trying to do, go live on Facebook, it might be goofy the first time, but they're doing it and they're reaching out and doing that. And I think it's amazing. And they keep going, tell me more. So
I love it when we put somebody on the spot and go live on Facebook for the first time. And I'm not sure if they're going to hide under the table or pull out a gun and kill me. But I think it gets to be really funny.
I think I remember your first time on Facebook Live compared to now. I'm like, okay. And everybody thinks they're goofy. And I think I'm goofy if I do it. But
well, the good thing is we are goofy. We just have to realize that we're goofy.
Goofy and not worry about it. Yeah.
And that's one of the things I tell people all the time. Yeah, I don't have to worry about my hair because I know it's not there. I am not the slim 18-year-old that I was at one point in time. But go to my YouTube page and see how many hundreds of thousands of people have watched for how many hundreds of thousands of hours, and that'll tell you something right there.
It's amazing.
Well, let's dive into some of these questions. I know that it's the beginning of the month. I know I've seen your locks. I know that you've got one hell of a month ahead of you. I think now you're on your You've got 2 or 3 processors processing for you. So I know you're busy as hell. So let's get through some of these questions.
Okay.
So here's something where I know you're going to answer very modestly, and you're going to be probably too conservative. So I'm going to drag it out of you. What makes you stand out from other loan officers?
Wow. I honestly think I've been doing it so long. I believe that it is honestly listening to people and making sure that if someone calls me that I pick up the phone. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, wow, you actually picked up the phone. And I take the time to talk to them, and you have to listen. And I put it on my recordings and everything that if I'm not picking up the phone, I'm in a meeting helping somebody else, and I'll call you back within a half an hour. And if not, I'm texting them, telling them when I'll call them back. And I think you just really have to listen to what people say and make sure that you do the follow-up and return calls and take care of people.
I will agree. I didn't know if you were actually going to say that. I was going to drag that out of you, but I'll agree with you 100%. One thing that I can vouch for is with you, I've got a saying, everybody gets the same show. And with you, I know if I send you a text, no matter what time of day or night it is, you're going to reply. It may be after you've finished a closing or taking a loan application, or it may be 2 or 3 hours, but I know that you're working, there's something going on, but you do return that call, you do return that text message. And the one thing that I love is I'm no more important than any one of your customers. And that's one thing that I really appreciate. Some people would drop the phone immediately and find out what it is that I need, but your customers come first, and I absolutely adore that.
I appreciate that. Another thing I think that it's really important too is the time you make yourself available. And I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, I make myself available. I'm up until midnight, and I literally have my clients will call me if they can't sleep, or if they have a question that can't wait till the next day. My realtors call me, and we're doing deals at 11:30. And I love this because I don't consider this work. I love what I do, and it makes me happy, and it's fun.
I know how tight you are with your referral partners and all of that. I'm going to assume that at some time on a Saturday or a Sunday or a holiday, one of your referral partners has driven to your house to get something done, to do something with business. Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
And then we'll have
some wine or something. Yeah, absolutely.
You look out in your driveway, and there's Christine Dern.
She's there quite frequently. Yes, she is.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's one of the reasons I just absolutely love that area that you're in and the business that you do. It truly is what we stand for. It's community lending. It is helping a community. It is being part of your community, and that's what we stand for. What technology do you love using that has been provided by Hancock Mortgage Partners?
I have to say, I love both Listing Booster and I love our secret black box or social black box. Both of them have their own unique abilities. And I think that I really started out with secret black box, so the social black box, and really learned how to do that. I think we've come a long way from our first little picture on the page at the hot homes to where we are now with scrolling and music and being able to immediately get in touch with either myself or a realtor. And the secret black box, when it just, we can keep evolving that, and I think it's working amazingly well. I think most of the people, probably my realtors that really use it are my seasoned realtors, for a better word, seasoned, and that they will actually take the time and call, know what to talk to people, put them on their MLS searches, and move on. So I absolutely love that. I love the ability that you gave us, that if we want something changed or we want to try something different, that you allow us to do that. I think it's amazing. And Listing Booster for listings is incredible too. It takes a different genre. It takes us, we post on the local buy-sell trade sites. Like, I know that Greg uses Craigslist a lot down in Tennessee, but we don't use that up here anymore. So we know that on Thursday nights we post because that's when we get the most bang for our buck. And then we we'll put it out there, and we'll be sitting there. Each of us have 2 Facebook pages, so we're always answering questions. We probably put them on 3 or 4 buy-sell trades, let the realtors know, and they're going to it. Now, yeah, I don't want them to do this on their own. I thought about that because Greg tried to let them do that. And we did test it a couple times, and I've gotten kicked off of the local buy-sell trades. And you cannot get back on with those monitors unless you beg. So it works out really well, and it's amazing.
I'm with you. That's actually 2 of my favorites. I love all the technology that we have, what we put out there. You've actually picked 2 of my favorites. Listing Booster is one of the greatest systems that anybody could have ever put together for such a minute amount of money for somebody to use. I'm thrilled to death that not every loan officer in the country is using it, but I think it's a damn shame that every real estate agent in the country is not using it. It would increase their business so far. Secret Black Box is by far one of the greatest systems that there's ever been. And I will tell you, I think I'd have to go back and look, but I'm about 99% positive that your agents work that system better than any other agents in the country. If we had to add up numbers, I'm going to say that your agents have closed more transactions off of that system than any other agents in the country. And that's something that you should be proud of, because you're the one that brought it to them. You're the one that perfected it and gave it to them and gave them something that they didn't have before, where all of a sudden you've got an agent closing 7 or 8 deals in a month off of the program that you gave them. To me, is pretty fascinating.
Thank you. I think I think it's true. I agree with you. I think that you can take a great agent and make them like fantastic. Linda's a perfect example.
Yes.
Other realtors are. They're amazing. They've doubled their volume. A lot of them have had to get assistants to help make phone calls and stuff. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, that's one of the things.
You start getting testimonials from them, because I hear it all the time.
I agree. And that's one of the things that I like opening up our trainings with is, what I want to do with this training session is give you a tax problem. I want you to be so pissed at me on April 15th of next year for the size of check you have to write to the IRS that you do nothing but think about how pissed you are at me.
Okay.
What changes are you going to do to increase your leads in the next quarter, if any? And this is kind of a funny question for you. They're all about the same, but for you, you are a lead monster. So tell me what that looks like.
Well, I just opened up some more of our hot homes pages. I think that I've got someone that's coming in the office that actually helps us in the evening make phone calls. He's fantastic, and it's working. I think probably out of maybe, if I had to say, he made 50 phone calls an hour. He honestly gets a hold of like 30 people, and we get these deals. So, and I think it took us a while to find the right person to do this, the right mentality. Like Linda's amazing at this, but she's like, Kim, sometimes she's so busy.
Yeah.
We just need somebody to help her or help any of my other realtors that are on this.
You've got to give me that number again. So how many phone calls and how many connections?
He makes 50 phone calls an hour on the average, and he at least makes 30. So at the same time, he's emailing and doing all, So it's true connections.
I absolutely love that. Just so you know, that beats our number in here internally. So out of every 100 phone calls that we have that are done internally, we have about a 42 to 43% conversion rate on that. So your guy is incredible. But I wouldn't think anything else coming from your office, because you guys take whatever it is that you're handed and make it better, faster, stronger. And like I said, I was actually talking to a common friend of yours and mine this morning, Paul Gainham, and I brag about you all the time. And it's one of those things when I told him what your volume was, what the size of your office, the number of your people, all of that, I swear I heard a tear drop. I mean, just that happy.
I love Paul. He's a good guy. Awesome. Thank you. Okay.
I know this one, but I think it's very important that we let the audience know this one. What do you love most about being a loan officer?
I absolutely, absolutely love helping people. I love when they come to me and they think they could never get a home, they have credit issues, absolutely solving a puzzle, working through it. A lot of the other lenders, a lot of other loan officers are cookie cutter. They can't think outside the box. And we go to the nth degree as personally and as a team to figure it out how to get them in a home. And I honestly can't say, I better knock on wood, that I haven't lost a loan this year.
One of the things that I love about coming to your office is when I get to talk and meet with your borrowers, and them telling that story, that same exact story. It's kind of funny. They thank me for you about how amazing you are, and
I can cry.
it makes no sense to thank me for it, but it's just again, I leave there so energized, so positive. I just absolutely love those trips.
Thank you.
Here's something that I need from you. You have been a loan officer for let's just say 10 plus years
That's good.
in this business, and you and I have been doing this quite some time. I think you're longer than I have. I started in about 1994, and I think we've both seen a major shift, a major change in what the position was, say, 2.5 decades ago to what it is now. But from you going through these changes, going through the ups, the downs, the crashes, what we were required to do as a loan officer then and what we're required to do today as a loan officer, what advice or tips do you have to give to any loan officers, whether they're brand new, whether they've been doing this for years, whether it's something that they forgot or never knew? What is it? Give me some advice to give to somebody to help them in their business today.
I think that the biggest thing, no matter, and I'm going to go back to it again, is communication. When you get into this, I mean, you can go online, you can learn from somebody else, you can learn the programs, but I really think that the communication has to be there. You have to do what you say you're going to do, follow through. If you don't know something or you don't know a question, gracefully say, I don't know the answer to that. Let me talk to my underwriter. Let me talk to someone else and get back to them. You don't have to say you're new in the business if you're newer. The older people, I think that a lot of them maybe started out fantastic and knew this to begin with. I think along the way, some of them have got tainted because of everything that's happened in the industry. I think they need to go back and reflect on why they got in this business and why they loved it in the first place if you're an older loan officer. And get back to communication and get back to talking to people and being honest and telling it like it is and helping people.
Agree. And one of the things that I want to stress, and I'm sure that you feel the same way, is it is a perfectly acceptable answer to say, I don't know, but I can find out the answer. That's perfectly acceptable. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree with that. It doesn't put you in a bad position, doesn't make you look goofy. It actually, people will respect you for doing that, for actually saying, I really don't know the answer to this. I need to find out that answer. I mean, I'll even get hit with some things sometimes that I'm like, wow, I don't know the answer to that question. Let me figure it out. Let me go find out.
It's because the lending world changes daily. The real estate world changes daily. The job world changes daily. I want to say when I started out in this business, if somebody had more than 2 or 3 jobs in 10, 20 years, that was something that, wait, something's going on here. Now, for somebody to have a different job every year is quite the norm. So it's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. Seasonal work is more popular. It's something that is constantly changing. So it's perfectly acceptable to say, I don't know. Let me find out that answer for both of us.
I think the other thing too is that you have to be adaptable to change, because the only thing that's constant is change. And if you can't adapt and you can't embrace it and say, don't fight something, go after it, find out about it, learn, grow. I think you're constantly learning and growing in this industry.
I've got one that's a complete side note on this one, and you'll love this one. You'll get a kick out of it. I taught a modern marketing class in Austin about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And during one of the breaks in the class, one of the guys came up to me and said, "Look, I'm an old guy. I don't know anything about these fancy social media and Facebook and things like that, blah, 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 blah." And on and on. I heard this before, but then when I asked him, I said, "Well, how old of a gentleman are you?" He said, "I'm 52. And I looked at him and said, I'll be 50 next month. So we're the same age. You've got the ability inside of you."
I agree. Step outside your comfort zone. You've taught me that.
So here's a question that I begged and pleaded for your coworkers to let me take out of here. I don't like this question. It's something that I feel it's very self-fulfilling, and I'm not a fan of it. But thanks to Quayle and Kelly Rice and Jennifer Miller, I was told it had to stay in here. What do you love about working at HMP?
Okay, I do not think that is self-fulfilling or crazy. I absolutely, okay, let me take a step back. I have been started way back when I was a kindergartner, and I've been in banking, I've been in secondary, I've had my own company, I've been with big companies. I think, and when you first called me and we first discussed this, because Paul got us together with this, I was so impressed, and I'm like, oh, it's, you weren't Hancock wasn't a big company, it wasn't a small company, and I don't think you'd been with the company much more over maybe a year or 2 years at that time. And what you said to me is, when you told me that we would take the best of what and let you grow your own way and be there to support us in any way we needed, and talking to you about that, there was something in your voice, something in your tone. I totally believe that. And it's been that way ever since. If I need anything, I know that you would jump on a plane for me. I know that Greg would jump on a plane for me. Anything I needed, you guys would be there. And I think that's what I absolutely love, and that's what made me come here, and I will not leave. So I love it.
I absolutely agree 110%. This is the most amazing thing I've ever been a part of in my whole life, and it's probably other than my wife and my family, it's the thing that has made me the most proud in my life is how we treat each other, how we take care of each other, how we're there to push each other. There's no animosity from the idea that you would get on the phone, the month you're closing 25 units in a month, and help somebody who's closing 3 units that month and give them every bit of your time, speaks volumes to not only who you are, but what we stand for, what we believe as a company.
And we are truly family, extended family, and I love everybody here. Love this Hancock family.
Agree. That one kind of took me. What is one obstacle that you had to overcome as a loan officer that you could give a piece of advice to another loan officer that may run into that?
There's actually 2 things, and you're going to laugh at one. I have absolutely terrible handwriting. I write like a doctor. I do. So when I started in this industry, we had to, write our own 1003s and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I had to learn to write.
Yes.
And then we got into more automation. And even if I write something today, if I'm writing an application like a pre-app, the girls will yell at me all the time. And I'm like, so I have to, it even goes today, I have to write better. I do. And I think the other thing is too is patience. I was not very patient when I first began. I wanted things to happen faster. And I think things can happen fast, but you have to be calm about it and trust everybody that's with you and turn it over to them and make it roll, the whole process. So, but mostly my handwriting. So
This is one reason why you and I get along so well, because we're the same person. My handwriting is so atrocious that my family says I should have either been a baseball player or a doctor.
right.
And as far as yes, most of the people probably watching this have no idea, and that's the way it was when I started this business. That we had to fill out 1003s by hand. That I remember. I guess it was 1994, 1995, when I started with my first stolen version of Calyx 2.0 or something like that, because I had never seen anything like that before. It was amazing, and that's really comical. I love both of those. I relate so well to both of those. Matter of fact, one of my taglines that I say all the time is "Patience is for doctors."
It is.
This is the one. I love this question because there's never been anybody in my life that I've ever met that said, yes, when I went to kindergarten, I wanted to be a loan officer. Did you always want to be a mortgage loan officer? If so, why? If no, what were you pursuing before this?
Oh, that's funny. Okay, that's actually funny. No, I didn't start out wanting to be a loan officer. I actually, when you're younger growing up, you never say, I want to be a loan officer. My mother was in banking, so I think, and my father was a teacher. So it kind of we're going either direction. But I actually really wanted to be a jet fighter pilot. You're going to think this is crazy. Wanted to be in the military, but my vision was not 2020.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen. So I decided to take a test to become an air traffic controller. And I was one of the only females with a high score. And I'm like, okay, do I really want to do that? I was working in banking at the time, and then had an opportunity to go to the secondary market and then to do loans. And it was kind of around the same time, within a couple months of each other. And I chose to stay in the lending business. So no, that's not what I really wanted to do originally. So
that's awesome. I had no idea I love that. That's awesome.
yeah, that's what I've always wanted to do. So, but I love what I'm doing now. So I took the right path.
Agree. I've talked to so many people about this, especially, after the 07, 08, 09 years. And so many friends of mine had gotten out and done other things. And during that time, I truly, thought, there's got to be, this is so hard. It's so miserable. It's not the mortgage business that I signed up for. And I just couldn't think of anything else. I would look at what other people were doing. I would look at friends of mine that were leaving to go into medical sales or something like that. And I just could not think of one other thing that helps so many people that I would enjoy, that I wanted to do every day.
We're in sync with that. I totally agree. I think that when the crash came 2007-8, I sat back and I'm like, what else do I want to do? And I'm like, we've seen so many things evolve before then, that I'm like, this too will pass, too will pass. And it passed, and stayed true to it. I mean, there was moments that are like, woo, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And you just kind of persevere, go through it. And I could not imagine. I tried to imagine myself in a different career. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I would ask myself, are you lazy? Are you ignorant? What is it that you're not seeing that other people are seeing? And again, I'll repeat it. I could not find anything else that even interests me as much as this business.
I agree with you. I was really sad to even think that I would have to make another change. I couldn't envision where my life was going to be past doing loans. I love it. Yeah. So I agree.
What is one piece of advice you would give to someone looking to purchase a home? Now, this question has changed dramatically from my other interviews, because in this interview with you and I right now, we are probably sitting somewhere between 1.5% and 2% higher in the market than we were just a few months ago. We are sitting at higher prices in the market than we were just a few months ago. We're still in somewhat of an inventory crisis. Rates have gone up. I know what my answer is. you need to get off your ass and get into the real estate market. But what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone looking to purchase a home right now?
I would say that even with rates going up, even not, it's still very affordable. And I think that if you're looking, you need to look now. Even if you look a couple months down the road, the rates, we're going to continue to go up, even if it's a little bit. Next year, we don't have a crystal ball. We can kind of believe that they're going to go up even more. I think that if you're seriously looking at purchasing a home, you need to do it now. We need to at least be able to pre-qualify you to see what you, because a lot of people don't even realize what their buying power is. So I think to take the first steps and let us pre-approve you and see where you're at and talk about this, because there's so many different programs, first-time home buyers. And I find out that a lot of the people are scared, or, they've heard horror stories with the rates going up. And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. And if you compare like a different rate of like maybe, a year ago, like 4.5 compared to like maybe 5 now, and you tell them the difference in the price per month payment, that's what I always do. It's like, it's not horrific if you break it down for them.
Agree.
So I think that's the thing that I would say.
There's 2 things I want to add on to that are my beliefs. Tell me if you agree. Anytime somebody loans you money at less than 10%, you're doing good.
I agree. I mean, that's better than charge card rates.
My first house that I financed was 8.5%, and that was a prime loan. And I know that there's people who have stories. I'm sure you have stories about the 17, 18%. That we had at some point in time. But I've just always felt, so just because we're not in the 3s anymore, 5s is still cheap money. If you personally were to loan somebody $100 and have them pay you back a year from now $105, you probably would not even think about it. It's not even worth it to you to do it. I'd rather give somebody $100 than that. So 5%, 6% is still cheap money as far as I'm concerned. The second one is, and I understand that there's some people who just cannot get into the real estate market. But my thing is nobody is getting younger on a daily basis. And if the greatest accumulation of wealth in this country is from real estate, if you are not a homeowner in the real estate game and accumulating that wealth, because there is no wealth from being a renter except for the guy you're renting from. You're making him or her a wealthy person. But I think that anybody who truly wants to have that accumulation of wealth, you need to get into it. You need to get into it now. And it's kind of like that question, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. Buy a home today. If you want to be extremely wealthy or better off than anybody buy a home and buy a rental property today. That's something that needs to be done that I don't think people are learning. They're not being taught that, but it's something that's incredibly important to me anyway.
I think that I remember, actually growing up, I remember my mother said, besides family as being your wealth and God, she always said to me that you can never go wrong if you own real estate. You will always be wealthy if you own real estate. The markets will come and go. You're always going to have appreciation. Might not be, only a couple percent a year, or it could be 10% a year, but that, you are always wealthy when you're building equity and it's something you own and you can keep on growing and at some point sell it in the future and make money. I remember her saying that distinctly all the time.
Agree. And I don't remember who it was, but it was some very smart person. I don't remember. Look it up if you would and put it in this video about one of the greatest things ever invented was compound interest. But I feel the same exact way about real estate and appreciation, because if you buy a piece of property today and over the next, I think right now I'm looking at some of these appreciations across the country. I think I saw in Maine, it was 11.2%. Utah was like 16.2% appreciation year over year. And we know that's not sustainable, but it's reality right now. So 10% this year, even if it's 5% next year, the longer you hold on to it, at some point in time, the rule of 72 is going to catch up to you, and your $100,000 piece of property is now worth $200,000, is now worth $300,000, something along those lines.
Correct. Yeah, that is truthful. Absolutely.
So here's my last question, and this is that Bryant Gumbel, Johnny Gotcha question kind of thing. And I know how important it is to me. I know how important it is to you. But the one thing that I don't think that these videos truly bring out is after watching this video, people will understand who you are as far as a businesswoman. People will understand who you are as far as taking care of them, walking them through the process for your referral partners, your borrowers, and so forth. But the one thing that I know that maybe other people in this audience don't know is what your family and what your makeup of your office looks like. So there's a lot of people that probably don't know that your sister is your business partner, that your niece is your processor, that your husband is a developer. And I want you to talk for just a second about what that family means not only to you, but what it does for you in business.
I've thought about this over the years, and actually my sister's worked with me in some form or another. She was a realtor for many years, so I did all of her lending. We were together when we did my Wayne Homes, my CTX days with construction. I think that family and business, they always have your back. Any given day that you could come into the office, we might be fighting about something, but I think the dynamics, the trust, and it's amazing that my niece, my nephews, my kids all want to be involved in our business. My husband, from a construction standpoint, I don't think he would have even considered doing this if I hadn't been able to do the construction loans and walk through that process. It's an amazing feeling every day that you can come in and you trust people. And I honestly believe too that the people that work for me are my family too. My assistant Mel, my other processor April, they've been with me a long time. And when we need help or someone that has a problem, we're all there to cover each other. Just like the extended family of Hancock. It's an amazing, I can't even tell you, it's an amazing feeling to have people that have your back and you can trust and are of like mind. And
no matter what, have your back. That everybody is rowing the same way. Everybody is pulling and pushing the same way. And that's one thing that I've noticed. Your family is so close-knit and such an integral part of your business. It's something that's beautiful to watch. People talk about legacies and things like that. To me, that's a living legacy, is watching you guys. And not only how much you care about each other, how much you care about your referral partners, your borrowers, your community. That's the one thing that's just always had me enamored of you guys. And I will always have Stowe, Ohio in my heart, kind of thing.
Stowe, Ohio. Okay. I thank you so much for saying that. I just, like I said, I can't tell the feeling that I feel right now when I work for Hancock, when I have the people in the office. It's a calm. It's just a knowing that everything's going to be okay. If I need something, and I think I've called you a couple times, and I'm like, I need help with something. It's just such a peace, honestly, to know that that's there.
One thing that I think, and I'm gonna wrap this up, but one thing, so I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm thinking about our conversations, and I'm thinking about the Alex Jimenez's, the Chad Prios, the Greg Peckmans, the Martinez's, everything as we talk about this. You know, one thing where I think we're really blessed is we have no knuckleheads in this company. There's not one jerk that's clogging up the pipeline for somebody else. There's not somebody who is using and abusing somebody's time because they're the most important person in the room. And I think for us, knock on wood, that's one of the things that we're blessed to be able to do every day.
I agree. I absolutely.
Like I told you, Kim Ricci is an awesome loan officer. Kim Ricci runs one of the greatest offices in this country. Not only am I lucky and blessed to have her with me, the people of Ohio are lucky and blessed to have her in their system, in their community to help them. If you ever have a doubt, look up Kim Ricci, call her, email her, stop by her office, and meet the person that I know, love, and adore. Kim Ricci is a freaking awesome loan officer.